Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Conversation with Stevie. This is the place where we discover and uncover the why behind the what of what people do. And so I'm so absolutely excited today because we have an extraordinary guest, guys. She is an amazing woman with an amazing testimony, and I'm so excited. I'm going to read a little bit about her bio, and then I'll welcome her in. Miss Belize Spivey is known as the STD Life Coach. She has helped millions of African American women to face the stigma of herpes. In August 2015, she launched her nonprofit organization, Overcoming the Stigma. The organization offers online support groups for women, monthly video support group sessions, YouTube videos, webinars, and annual conference as well. She offers life coaching sessions to women and men ready to live again after herpes. She wrote a book called Overcoming What Can't Be Cured, Living Beyond Herpes, to share her personal story. All right. Hello, Belize. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you great. I'm happy to be here with you.
I'm happy that you're here. I really am thrilled. I had the pleasure of meeting you last year. And it just was amazing. It was amazing that we were in the same space. And now you're here on the conversation. And so I am just like, I can't wait for you to tell us more about your story. Tell us, why this is so significant to you.
Okay. So the biggest thing, this is huge for me because I live with it. I've been living with herpes for 9 years now. When I found out, I was just a sophomore in college. I was like, I'm young, I'm still a baby, thinking that I'm grown. But at the end of the day, it was new to me. I didn't know much about herpes at all. I knew about every other STD but this one. So it was just like, I can't believe it. I thought I did everything right, even though still risky, but still I believe I did everything right. So to get the diagnosis was just devastating because I was like, I'm a sophomore in college. I'm still trying to figure myself out. How's my life going to look? At that time, I wasn't dating. I was talking to people, but I wasn't in those serious relationships. I didn't have any children, anything like that. So I'm thinking like all of that was going to be erased. I wasn't going to have that in my future. But the biggest thing that changed for me is that I did have a close friend who had just contracted HIV, and she showed me that life can move on. So as I sat on my bed, I was like, you know what? This is not going to take me out. That was just a decision that I made, and it didn't. I decided to start helping other people, get into the support group, which helped me tremendously. And I started helping others who were just at a point where they want to commit suicide. And I was like, oh, nah, it ain't that serious. It's not that serious. And then I just grew to love it, and I just became an activist after that.
Awesome. And for those who may not, we've heard of different STDs, but for those who are not as like knowledgeable, what would you like? How would you describe herpes? What is it?
Okay, herpes is a STD or quote unquote a STI. It is transmitted through sexual contact, so that's including kissing and oral sex and also genital sex.
Okay, thank you. And what is one of your biggest success stories that you've had with your clients? Because I know, like, the whole, going through that, you were just saying that you've heard people be suicidal, and it's something very scary. I've spoken to a lot of people who have gone through this and, have had different scares within my own life. So I know how detrimental this can be. And you are doing such a great work. You really, really are. And you being super brave in the fact that you're like, okay, this is what I had to deal with, but it's not going to stop me. And I love that about you. So I really want to know about your biggest success story.
Okay, well, this is so exciting because I have a lot, truthfully, but I will talk about this last one. It's interesting because one of my first real clients, I don't had a lot of clients, but being a coach and things like that, when you finally I know my stuff, and I'm gonna be a real coach this time. So I end up having a client, and I worked with her for 4 weeks, and I was really excited because I had taught her a time prior to that. That young lady at the time, she's in her mid to late 30s. Okay, so she was known as a woman, I know what I want. She had dated, she had sex. She was like, I know what I want. But when this happened to her, she was devastated. And at this point, she thought she can trust some people. And she told close friends who literally turned against her. She had to move because it was just that bad. They were posting on social media. They was like literally attacking her at her job. It was really, really bad where she had to literally uproot her whole life because of this condition. So she ended up moving, still struggling with that, the fact that this virus really just made her realize that people really didn't have her back. So after talking to her, I helped her through all of that. She was in a relationship, realized the relationship wasn't the best relationship. And she was like, I just know my life is never going to be the same. And I was like, it's not true. We're going to work this out. So while working with her, I helped her, understand everything about herpes. And anybody who ever been my client knows I'm more than herpes. It's so much deeper, and most of us deal with, depression, suicidal thoughts, a lot of stuff prior to this. So I try to kind of uproot that and realize you got other issues, and let's talk about the other issues as well. So we talked about everything, and literally this year, May 4th, she's getting married.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited because she ended up finding someone literally after we finished talking. I swear, I think about 2 or 3 months later, she met the man of her dreams.
Wow.
And it's so funny because she wasn't even in that state. Like, she met him on Tinder. It's kind of weird.
Wow.
And now they're getting married. So I'm so excited. I'll be going up there for their wedding. And I'm just stoked because she truly didn't believe that was going to happen. And I literally talked to her today. And I told her, I said, I'm so proud of you. I can cry because I said, you were in a space where you just didn't think nothing would happen for you. You really thought your life was going to end this way, where you're going to be unhappy and that you wasn't going to have any children, that, you just didn't deserve love. But after facing it and making the decision that I'm not going to let this keep me, you end up finding everything you dreamed of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful, because a lot of times I know that some of the things that people who have experienced this, they're fearful of like telling people. One of my very best friends, like you were saying, you had a friend who has HIV. I had one of my very best friends does too. And, I've been with her through some of the different challenges she has with relationships and growing moments and stuff like that. And it is something where you have to come to that decision to say, this is what I have. And I think that's so profound and so amazing that your client is actually, experiencing what some people may not even think they would ever experience, somebody who's going to marry them. That's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
To you, her, and him.
I am so stoked. I'm going to cry. Oh, God, I'm going to cry.
That's powerful. It is. It really is. And to know that you had a hand in that, and to know, sometimes we go through things in life where it's not for us. I put this on social media very recently. It's not for us. My story is not mine. Whatever I've gone through is not mine. It's for me to help somebody else to get through. And that's what it is. And I believe that we all have to utilize what God has given us in our stories and our talents to get there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I completely agree. For a long time, I was mad at God. I'm so happy you even opened that up. That I was mad, and most of us do get mad because a lot of us go through some tough stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't care what, financially you look like or how you was raised. Everybody go through something that to them is the most traumatic thing in their life. And when you're going through it, you're just like, God, there's no way you can love me. Why you let me suffer? Why you let me go through this? Like, I didn't do anything. I'm not perfect, but dang, this is horrible. And when you get to a point where you just decide that it happened, I want to do what I can. But then when you really start sharing your story, your testimony with other people and realizing, dang, I thought it was bad, but I was in a better stance because I was able to make a decision and do the necessary work to get out. Whereas other people who are just stuck and they don't think they're going to get out. And as we know, if you don't make a decision, nothing's going to change.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So I truly do, everybody who's listening to this, even if you haven't or not, whatever you in, you got to make a decision to get out and then do the necessary work to get out.
You're right about that.
It's not going to be easy.
That work is something, no matter what the quote unquote challenge or, battle or whatever it is that you're facing in life, that work is not easy. It's not easy to look at your stuff.
And honestly, this made me look at my stuff. It made me look at sexual health in a whole other way. I tell people all the time that we are promoted to have sex, but they don't tell us the risk. They tell us what to do when it comes to drugs. Oh, you drink too much, don't drink and drive. You smoke, oh, you can get, lung cancer. Mm-hmm. They don't tell you fully the extra that comes with, with sex. They'll tell you, oh, you can get an STD or STI or unwanted pregnancy, but they don't tell you mental health come with it. You can develop a mental disorder. I wish they would put mental disorder, then STD, then unwanted pregnancy, because truthfully, I had an unwanted pregnancy and my child has been a blessing to me. I had an STD and it has been a blessing to me. But that mental health piece, that wasn't no blessing. That was hard. Mm-hmm. That still lingers to this day because of trauma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you go through blame, you go through, I'm sure, like, depression, all kinds of stuff that it is a mental piece. It is a mental piece. And I talk very openly about, my experience with abortion and different things like that. I talk about that because that's something I went through young, and it's still, to this day, I am decades older.
Right.
It still sticks with you, that stuff still sticks with you, and you have to kind of, like Joyce Meyer says, the battlefield of the mind.
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah, you have to get because it's so, you go through guilt, you go through depression, you go through blame, you go what if and all this and all that, and but you still have to face the reality of what is there.
And I feel like, that's where a lot of us lack at, that how to kind of accept the whole situation. And I understand, I'm sure you can understand where I'm coming from with this when I say it's hard to accept it, because you're thinking, if I didn't do this, then this wouldn't happen. And then I wouldn't have had to make this type of decision, or this consequence wouldn't happen. And as we know, yeah, true. Yeah, if I didn't have sex, I probably wouldn't have got an STI. Or if you had, you didn't have sex, you probably wouldn't end up having an abortion. But let's really think, even if you do it the right way, that does not guarantee that nothing will not happen. And I think so many people believe, and I have ladies who come to me all the time, I'm a good girl, I'm not promiscuous, this is my first time having sex. I even have young ladies come to me who are virgins still. This is not right. It's not fair. I say, I understand. It's not about fair. It's about just consequences for action. It just come with it. And we just don't understand when you make a decision, it's going to be good or bad. And sometimes even if it is a good decision, it still has an outcome that you may not appreciate or like or have to deal with or have to suffer with for a longer period of time. So I think people are just struggling with, okay, what if I have done this and what if I've done that? Would it still happen? Chances are, if you're still having sex, that's the door. Mm-hmm. If you're getting married, I talk to married couples all the time, and literally all of a sudden herpes just pop up out the sky. And it's not always infidelity in a relationship. So a lot of people are like, well, somebody cheated. That ain't true. Many people just don't know cold sores and fever blisters is herpes. How many people have a relationship with people with cold sores and fever blisters? All of us. I no lie, everybody have and didn't realize what it was. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not knowing that you are at risk of contracting that from your partner.
And then it can lie dormant, correct? Can it lie dormant for some time?
So, yes, it can. It can sit in your body. Most people do not have symptoms at all, or they're so mild. So, for example, when I say mild, they can look like pimples. They can look like abrasions. They can look like rashes. They can look like little clean cuts. Like if you get a paper cut, it can look like that. For men, it could be a jock itch. For women, it can be covered up like a yeast infection or bacterial vaginosis. It's so much that it looks like that you will brush it off. And so many of us are looking for this big, like nasty, goopy, painful thing. And sometimes you'll never get that. It could be that simple bump that comes up every other month. And you're looking like, oh, it comes and then be gone after 2 days. But it don't hurt. We think it's supposed to hurt, and that's not true, but that's what Google states, that it's painful. That's not true. It's not painful for everybody. This virus is very situational.
Mm. Mm. Wow. Wow. That's deep. That's deep, especially when you're like, some things are very much symptomatic the same. So like,
yep.
in somebody it's going to be, but what you're saying is it could not be. Like, you might have it one way and the next person might have it a totally different way.
It is true. I have heard so much. I have heard people say they can't walk. For example, I was in that situation. It was so painful. I couldn't walk. I didn't want to use the bathroom. I didn't want to wipe. I didn't want to take a shower. I didn't want to do anything. And then I had ladies like, oh, it was just like a little hair bump. And it didn't even hurt. It was gone after 2 days.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm jealous.
Wow.
Which happens within our community too. We get jealous of other people not have to suffer as much as others. And that's sad, but it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so different for everybody. Some people don't have to deal with the same thing. Some people get into who's already in a relationship and find out they have the virus and their partner stays. And then some people, it don't happen that way. And it's like, well, it happened for her, so why didn't it happen for me? Situational.
Mm-hmm.
Very situational. So it's kind of difficult. I'll say, speaking on behalf of the health, departments or whatever, and even what I heard from infection disease, one of the directions here in Atlanta is that what y'all know is what we know. The information is confusing because we are confused. What y'all see is what we have. So don't think we're harvesting information. It's really nothing there. And that hurts to hear it, but it's the truth. It's nothing there because no research is being done for the virus. And until the research is done pertaining to how it fully functions, because it's skin-to-skin contact, but it lies on the end of the nerves. So as we know, you freaking out, you stressed, your mental and your emotional has everything to do with how this virus is going to fluctuate for you because it's on your nerve endings. So just imagine trying to get rid of a virus that is in the nerves. You don't want to damage the nerves and cause so many other issues, so I feel like at the end of the day, they have to do way more research, but based off talking to the director, she said, what you see is what we have. If you don't see nothing extra, this is it, because we are as confused as you guys trying to figure out how this thing works and how to make it benefit everybody. And that's the hard part because it's so situational. Many other viruses is all the same across the board. For HIV, gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, it's the same across the board. But when it comes to herpes, what happens to you and what happens to me is two different things. And how we're going to benefit both of them, not just one. CDC don't play that. They're trying to make sure everybody benefit the same. And if everybody can't benefit the same, they wait until they figure out how.
Wow. Wow, yeah. It's deep. And you were saying a second ago about your the fact that it's nerve related. So meaning if you're stressed out, I guess more flare ups because connects to your nervous system.
Girl, that's the number one trigger for us is stress. And let's be honest, everybody stress out. Everybody. It's not something that you just get rid of. Everybody comes with stress because life is stressful. It's hard. So it's kind of hard for it. But I tell people, this teaches you how to deal with your mental and your emotional state. It teaches you that self-care matters. Because if you don't, these outbreaks will remind you that you better calm down. I use it as you need to get some sleep. Oh, you tripping. You stressing too much. Because, you in pain now. Now you got to suffer because you can't keep your emotions in check. No, nobody got time for that.
Wow. I definitely get that because that's part of my story is that I ended up really ill from stress. So I went through 3 colonoscopies within 30 days, 2 within 24 hours. I went from a size 14 to a size 0. And I had shingles. So
that's another form of herpes.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people don't know that either. No, most people, and I'm so happy you said that because many people get shingles and don't know it's parts of herpes. And a lot of people's like, well, they're doing a lot for shingles because it can kill you.
Yeah.
Like the pain is now that is across the board, just like chickenpox. Chickenpox is also herpes, but it's the same for everybody. Everybody got some bumps. Everybody get the itching. Everybody is the same. Shingles the same. Everybody is kind of typically on the back or the butt or any. It's all the same. And when it's not, that's where the problem is. And also, it's like really taking a toll on pregnant women and also elderly. So they had to make a vaccine for it, and I'm happy they did. So they can make one for that. Type 1 and type 2 right behind it.
And what's the difference between type 1 and type 2?
There's no difference. It's just sites. So basically when the virus came up, just like they do diabetes type 1, type 2, they decided to identify it. Type 1 was typically the site of oral. And when they mean oral, they mean anything facial. Our herpes can be anywhere on your face. Most people, they can have it. You see people on their mouth, but it can be inside their mouth. It can be on their chin. It can be above their lip. It can be around their nose. It can be on their cheeks. So some people may think, oh, they got really bad acne. No, bro. They're having a herpes outbreak, but you don't know because it looks like acne or it looks like a bad rash. So most people think it's on the mouth, but no, it can be more than that. So type 1 was at first was stated as oral or facial as the first site, and then type 2 was genital. That was the other site. But over the years, they don't really like using types. They still use them, but truthfully, type 1, most genital herpes cases are because of type 1 because of oral sex. So you have type 1 genital, or you can have type 1 oral, or you can have type 2 genital or type 2 oral. So honestly, the types doesn't really matter anymore. They were just really, it was a way to determine a site, an infection site. But now that's not the case. It can be anywhere.
Wow, you are a wealth of knowledge. And
I learn this stuff every day. Don't think I know I've learned it, and the beautiful thing about it is I learn these things talking to other people who are dealing with it. And I understand, you can understand where I'm coming from, especially going through what you've been through in life. When you start talking to people who've been through it, they start giving you tips. You're like, oh, I didn't know that. Where you find that? She said, girl, I was doing a whole lot of research, or I found a really good doctor, or, I was in a support group and somebody been living with it for this many years or been dealing with it and they found this out. So I just learned this from other activists. I'm in a group called Hands, and it's ran by Janelle. She's the one who's over at STD Project. And it's like 20 of us, and just all the information we learned, like, I was like, I would never known this, but they had herpes longer than me. So they don't did things, they don't learn things, they don't found research. So what I know is what they know. You're the best. You're as good as your weakest link, as they say.
Yeah. I think that's so awesome that you are utilizing this and taking it to the next level. So many people don't do that, and you've created a whole brand and business from what you've gone through, and I think that's amazing. I'm an advocate of that, and especially in this day and age when so many of our women are leaving this earth very quickly. I think that we have got to be more vocal in what we do, and I'm just excited for you and proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
And
I've been watching you for so long. Oh my God.
What'd you say?
That's why I've been watching you for so long. You were like a celebrity in my mind.
Oh, I know you said that, and now it's a blessing. It's a blessing because I really am excited about women going to the next level of what we're doing and taking it, beyond what we have ever seen before. And you're an advocate of that. That makes me, very, very excited of because people need this. People need.
Oh yeah. And it's so crazy when you say that, like, and I'm sure you probably understand where I'm coming from with this one. You have people walk up to you, like, oh my God, you changed my life. And you're looking like, how? I only share what I knew, or I tried to help you, but you don't really know the big impact until you start talking to people, or, you get emails and you get DMs or whatever. And I'm looking like, darn, me getting over me and me finally deciding that I'm not going to allow the stigma to take me have just saved so many people's lives. I can truly say I did lose one young lady that I know committed suicide. And that was devastating to me because at that time I was in the process of divorce. So I was just like, I'm letting go of what caused me to even get here. My ex-husband was very supportive. He backed me. He was like, go, I got your back, do you. So for me to step away from that, I'm like, okay, I'm stepping away from what helped me, push me here. And then in the midst of me doing this, I lost somebody. It's like, okay, am I doing the right thing? It's called issues, but then I learned. But you have to separate from, certain things to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have just a few more minutes, and I definitely ask this question to everyone who comes to the conversation. And and the question is, if you, I would say, Stevie, what is, we have to leave this conversation today without saying this. Like, what is that one thing we cannot leave this conversation without saying to the people?
That you're not alone. That is my main thing. You're not by yourself. I'm telling you, whoever listens, half of your listeners is going to have herpes or with somebody with herpes or heard about it. And they thought they were by themselves. And I just want you to know that you're not by yourself. That help is available to you. It's available to you. You're just going to have to do the work. Now I'm just boom in your face. But at the end of the day, it's available to you. I will tell everybody, get into a support group. Please get around people who get it. Because talking to your friends is great. Talking to your mama is great. Talking to your significant other is great. But they don't understand the emotional strain this calls us. And you need support letting you know that, okay, I get you. Cry about it, yell about it, scream about it. I got you, but you got to go back and you got to live your life anyway. And that's kind of hard to hear from somebody who do not have the virus.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So please give us what's coming up for you and how we can stay connected.
All right. Absolutely. If you want to connect with me, I'm on Facebook as Belize Spivey, on Instagram as Belize.Spivey. I'm on YouTube at Belize Spivey. I got 211 videos on there pertaining to herpes. You can find whatever you're looking for pertaining to that. I have an Overcoming Gathering conference coming up here in Atlanta, February 22nd and 23rd, where I have individuals get to do one-on-one sessions with me, and then the next day have an educational day. And I'm so excited about that because I'm having somebody from the state come down, tell us what's going on in our state. If anybody don't know, they said HIV is not epidemic in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. It's time to talk fast. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fast. And for anybody who have, we can't play. We can't play in any shape or form because we're at a higher risk because our skin is open. Other people, your skin's sealed up. So, with that being said, I will have somebody from the state come down telling us what's going on, how to protect ourselves, and resources. I'll teach people how to disclose, which is the biggest struggle. After you get your diagnosis, first thing you do, how I'm going to tell somebody. So I will go hand in hand working with everybody on how to disclose so they'll walk away knowing how to disclose. And I will be going to 6 other states after that. So hope to see you in your state.
That's powerful. That's powerful because I know that conversation can be very hard for people to do.
Hard? Yeah. Nobody even want to ask simple questions. Even if you don't have an STD, you don't even want to talk about STDs. You just want to have sex. Let's really be honest. It's like, I just hope they ain't got nothing because I don't want to talk about it. It's an uncomfortable conversation because it's not taught. Yeah. Nobody teach you how to have that conversation.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. So
Nobody want to talk about it.
It's amazing the work that you're doing. Definitely keep, as I say in my language, rocking your it factor to the fullest and changing lives, starting with your own. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for just being a vessel for so many people because it is, we all have something. We all have something we're dealing with. And the ones who stand up boldly and proudly of the work that God has entrusted them to do, because this is a very ministerial thing to be able to care for somebody's heart like that. So just keep it up. Just keep being amazing you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I appreciated being on your show.
You're welcome. Everybody, well, this has been the Conversation with Stevie. You know what I say at the end of everything I do is to make it a great day. Do not have a great day. Make it a great day. Why? Because you, and yes, you too have the power to do so. If you ever need to connect with me, you just need to know how to spell my first name, Stevii. You can find me at stevie.com, all over social media, and of course, right here on the Conversation with Stevie. Talk to you later.